If you have spent money on expensive skin creams and seen modest results at best, this video is going to reframe the entire question. Because what the research is beginning to show is that the most meaningful thing you can do for your skin after 60 may have nothing to do with what you apply to it, and everything to do with what you eat before bed. Not a supplement, not a procedure. Something you can find in any supermarket for a few dollars. Today, we are going to talk about walnuts. The claims you may have seen online about them are significantly overstated. But the genuine science underneath those claims is actually worth knowing about. And that distinction between what is true and what is exaggerated is exactly what we are going to give you today. Welcome to Healthy Aging Research. My name is Emily Hart, and this channel exists to give adults over 55 the kind of honest, evidence-informed guidance that helps you make better decisions about your health every single day. We do not sensationalize here. We do not turn preliminary research into miracle claims. And we are always going to tell you exactly where the science stands, because you deserve the truth, not a version of it dressed up to sound more exciting than it is. Today's topic sits at the intersection of nutrition, sleep science, and skin health. Some of what we know is well established. Some of it is promising but early. We will be clear about which is which at every step, because on a channel like this, that distinction is not optional. It is the entire point. If you love what we do here, please consider subscribing. It takes 1 second, costs nothing, and means you will never miss what comes next. Now, let us start with what is actually happening to your skin while you sleep. What your skin is doing while you sleep, and why it matters after 60. Here is something most people do not think about. Your skin does not age primarily during the day. In meaningful biological terms, it ages, or regenerates, at night. During sleep, your body activates what researchers describe as its overnight maintenance program. DNA repair enzymes become more active. Collagen synthesis increases. Blood flow to the skin shifts and intensifies. Research published in the Journal of Investigative Dermatology has shown that skin cell proliferation nearly doubles during the night, particularly between 11 at night and 4 in the morning. But here is the detail that changes everything. This repair process is not automatic. It is conditional. It depends on the right biochemical signals being present. Signals that tell your body to invest energy in rebuilding rather than simply maintaining. And after 60, several of those signals weaken naturally. Melatonin production declines significantly. Sleep quality deteriorates. The depth and duration of truly restorative sleep decreases, and when the repair window shortens or becomes less efficient, the visible signs of skin aging accumulate faster than they need to. This is the context in which the question of evening nutrition becomes genuinely interesting. If certain foods contain compounds that support deeper sleep or provide building blocks the skin uses during its overnight repair phase, that is not marketing language. That is biochemistry, and it is worth understanding clearly. What makes walnuts different from other foods? Before we look at the specific mechanisms, it helps to understand why walnuts have attracted serious scientific attention in the first place. Walnuts are one of the most nutritionally complex foods available. A single small handful, roughly 28 grams, provides meaningful amounts of omega-3 fatty acids, copper, magnesium, vitamin E, and a range of polyphenols, bioactive plant compounds that interact with biological pathways rather than simply providing calories. And they contain something that genuinely surprised researchers when it was first identified: melatonin. Research from the University of Texas Health Science Center confirmed that walnuts contain measurable bioavailable melatonin, meaning melatonin that is actually absorbed when eaten. In animal studies, walnut consumption increased blood melatonin concentrations measurably. A 2024 randomized controlled trial conducted in humans found that daily consumption of 40 grams of walnuts was associated with significant improvements in sleep quality, including shorter time to fall asleep, better sleep efficiency, and less daytime sleepiness, alongside measurable increases in melatonin metabolites in urine. Now, this is where honest calibration matters. And I want to be direct with you about this because it is exactly the kind of detail most health videos never mention. The human sleep trial was conducted in young adults, not specifically in seniors. The melatonin content of walnuts varies depending on cultivar and processing. Roasting reduces it significantly, which means raw walnuts are meaningfully preferable to roasted. The lead researcher himself acknowledged that the optimal human dose remains unknown. And it is worth knowing that this trial was funded by the California Walnut Commission, though the researchers stated the commission had no role in the analysis or interpretation of the data. What we can say confidently is that the evidence for walnuts supporting sleep quality is real, growing, and biologically plausible. What we cannot say is that eating walnuts will transform your skin overnight. With that honest framing in place, let us look at what the research actually shows. Before we move on, I want to ask you for a quick favor. Right now, 98% of the people watching this video are not subscribed to this channel. If you are enjoying this and finding it useful, take a second to subscribe so you never miss what we publish next. We are working toward 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month, and we are almost there. 1 second is all it takes. Now, let's continue. Mechanism 1. Sleep depth and the overnight repair window. The connection between walnuts and skin health begins not with the skin at all. It begins with sleep, and specifically with the depth of sleep your body achieves each night. Melatonin is far more than a sleep hormone. In cellular biology, it functions as a master regulator of repair, a potent antioxidant, and a signaling molecule that tells your cells the overnight maintenance window is open. When melatonin levels are adequate, the body invests in regeneration. When they are insufficient, the repair window narrows. After 60, melatonin production from the pineal gland can decline to less than half of what it was at 30. This is one of the primary biological reasons sleep becomes lighter and less restorative with age, and why the skin's overnight repair cycle operates less efficiently than it did in earlier decades. Walnuts also contain magnesium, a mineral that plays a direct role in activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and repair mode. Without sufficient magnesium, the nervous system struggles to fully shift into the deep, restorative sleep states where skin regeneration is most active. Many adults over 60 are mildly magnesium deficient without realizing it. What this means practically is that a small handful of raw walnuts eaten in the early evening may gently support both the timing and the depth of the repair window, not by forcing a physiological change, but by providing compounds the body already uses naturally in that process. This works with your existing systems rather than against them, and that distinction matters enormously. Before we continue, think for a moment about your sleep. Not how long you sleep, how deeply. Do you wake feeling genuinely restored? Or do you surface in the morning feeling as though you skimmed the surface of sleep all night, technically in bed for 7 or 8 hours, but never truly rested? Because here is what that means for your skin. Every hour of shallow sleep is an hour of the repair window that does not fully open. And over months and years, that accumulated deficit shows up, not suddenly, but gradually, in the texture, resilience, and vitality of your skin. If that second description sounds like your nights, keep watching, because the next mechanism connects directly to a consequence your skin is already showing. Mechanism 2. Collagen, fibroblasts, and omega-3 fatty acids. When we look at what changes most visibly in aging skin, loss of firmness, deepening of lines, reduction in resilience, what we are really observing is a change in the structural integrity of the dermis. The layer beneath the surface where collagen and elastin fibers form the architecture that keeps skin looking firm and youthful. Here is the biological detail most people misunderstand. You do not simply lose collagen with age. Your body gradually becomes less efficient at rebuilding it. And that distinction changes everything. Because if the problem is reduced synthesis rather than inevitable loss, then the solution lies in supporting the cells responsible for production. These cells are called fibroblasts. Think of them as the architects of your skin. Every strand of collagen, every fiber of structural support begins with their activity. In youth, they are highly responsive and well supplied. Over time, oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, and nutrient depletion cause them to slow down. Not because they have disappeared, but because their environment no longer supports optimal function. This is where omega-3 fatty acids become relevant. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has shown that omega-3 fatty acids can influence fibroblast activity, supporting collagen production while simultaneously reducing the enzymes that break it down. A comprehensive meta-analysis of 61 human dietary intervention studies found that lipids and fatty acids, the category that includes omega-3s, produced measurable reductions in skin wrinkles across the studied populations. Walnuts are one of the richest plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids available. They also contain copper, a trace mineral that plays a role in cross-linking collagen fibers, giving newly formed collagen the structural stability it needs to maintain firmness. The honest caveat, and I want to be clear about this, no study has specifically tested whether eating walnuts daily produces measurable improvements in human skin wrinkles. What the research shows is that walnuts contain the specific compounds that other studies have individually linked to collagen support. The chain of evidence is plausible and converging. It is not yet a proven outcome from walnuts specifically. On a channel built on honesty, that distinction matters. Before we move on, right now, 98% of the people watching this video are not subscribed to this channel. If you are enjoying this and finding it genuinely useful, take a second to subscribe so you never miss our next video. We are working toward 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month, and your support truly helps. Mechanism 3. Inflammation, the silent accelerator. Of all the biological processes that accelerate visible skin aging, chronic low-grade inflammation is among the most significant and the most overlooked. This is not the inflammation of an injury. There is no visible redness, no swelling you can point to. It is a persistent background level of inflammatory signaling, sometimes called inflammaging in the research literature, that quietly disrupts the balance between skin repair and breakdown. Think of your body as a city. When emergency sirens are running continuously, resources are diverted, construction slows down, long-term maintenance is postponed. Repair crews are busy responding to alerts rather than rebuilding infrastructure. Your skin operates in exactly the same way. When inflammation is running at a sustained low level in the background, fibroblasts slow their collagen production, enzymes that degrade structural proteins become more active, and the body stays in a defensive state where regeneration is a lower priority than protection. Many of the daily habits common in adults over 60, processed food, disrupted sleep, chronic stress, reduced physical activity, contribute to this background inflammation without any single dramatic cause. Walnuts are rich in polyphenols, bioactive compounds that interact with inflammatory pathways at a cellular level. Research published in peer-reviewed nutrition journals has shown that compounds in walnuts, including elagitannins, can modulate the NF-kappa B pathway, a master switch for inflammatory signaling. effectively reducing the volume of that background noise without shutting inflammation down entirely. Complete absence of inflammation is not the goal. Balance is. And it is in that balanced state that regeneration becomes possible again. Here is a misconception worth addressing directly before we go further. Most people approach skin aging from the outside in. They look at their skin, see what has changed, and reach for something to apply to the surface: a cream, a serum, a treatment. But your skin is not built from the outside in. It is built from the inside out. Every cell, every fiber, every layer of structural support is constructed from the nutrients delivered through your bloodstream day after day over years. External products can support the surface. They cannot rebuild the architecture underneath it. This is not an argument against skincare. It is an argument for understanding that internal and external approaches address completely different layers, and that after 60, the internal layer is often the one receiving the least attention. Keep that in mind as we look at the final two mechanisms. Mechanism 4. Circulation and your skin's internal irrigation. Here is a perspective on skin aging that most people never encounter. Before skin visibly ages, it is often first undernourished. Your skin depends entirely on a dense network of microscopic blood vessels, capillaries, to deliver oxygen, nutrients, and repair molecules to every cell. As we age, this microvascular network deteriorates gradually. Vessel walls lose flexibility. Capillary density decreases. Blood flow becomes less efficient. And the skin begins to show the signs of that deprivation: dullness, slower healing, reduced vibrancy, and eventually structural thinning. Before the skin visibly ages, it is first starved. And most people never make that connection. Research from Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health and findings published in the journal Circulation have associated regular walnut consumption with improved endothelial function, the health of the thin layer of cells lining blood vessels, and increased nitric oxide availability. Nitric oxide is the molecule that signals blood vessels to relax and expand, improving microcirculation throughout the body, including in the skin. When microcirculation improves, oxygen delivery to skin cells increases. Nutrient absorption becomes more efficient, waste removal accelerates, and the overnight repair process we discussed at the beginning of this video operates more effectively because the raw materials it needs are being delivered more reliably. Think of it this way. The most fertile soil in the world cannot produce vibrant growth without adequate irrigation. Blood flow is your skin's irrigation system, and walnuts, through their combination of omega-3 fatty acids, polyphenols, and compounds that support nitric oxide production, contribute to maintaining that system after 60. Mechanism 5. Oxidative stress and your skin's defense system. Of everything we have covered today, this final mechanism is the one that operates most silently and most continuously inside your body, every second of every day, regardless of what you eat or how you sleep. Oxidative stress is not simply about damage, it is about imbalance, specifically the imbalance between free radical production and your body's capacity to neutralize them. Your body has its own antioxidant defense system. The problem arises when modern lifestyle factors increase free radical production beyond what your natural defenses can manage. More damage, less repair capacity, faster visible aging. In your skin, this imbalance is particularly visible because it affects the two structural proteins that determine how your skin looks and feels: collagen, which provides firmness, elastin, which provides flexibility. When these proteins are repeatedly damaged faster than they can be repaired, the visible signs of aging emerge: fine lines, loss of elasticity, thinning texture. Walnuts are rich in both vitamin E and polyphenols, two classes of antioxidants that operate in complementary ways. Vitamin E is fat-soluble, meaning it integrates directly into cell membranes, the structures most vulnerable to oxidative attack, and acts as a protective barrier against the chain reaction of lipid oxidation. Polyphenols act as signal modulators. They do not just neutralize free radicals directly, but influence the expression and activity of your body's own antioxidant enzymes. They support the intelligence of your existing defense system rather than trying to replace it. This dual action is what makes whole food sources of antioxidants more meaningful than isolated supplements. And for aging skin, where collagen breakdown is the result of repeated micro-damage accumulating over years, even modest and consistent reductions in oxidative stress sustained over months can meaningfully shift the trajectory. Not dramatically, not overnight, but consistently. And in biology, consistency is where outcomes are built. Before the recap, I want to say something directly, because it is easy to hear everything we have covered today and reach the wrong conclusion. Walnuts are not a treatment. They are not a substitute for sleep hygiene, stress management, regular movement, or the sun protection that remains the single most evidence-supported intervention for visible skin aging available to any adult over 60. What they are is a genuinely nutrient-dense food, with a growing body of research suggesting they support several of the biological processes that determine how your skin ages. The sleep repair window, the collagen production environment, the inflammatory balance, the vascular health that keeps your skin nourished overnight, the oxidative defense system that slows structural damage over time. 5 mechanisms, all supported by real research, none of them promising miracles, all of them worth consistently supporting. That is what evidence-informed healthy aging actually looks like. Not dramatic interventions, not expensive procedures. Consistent, small choices that shift the biological conditions your skin operates within, day after day after day. What a realistic evening habit looks like. Here is what the evidence actually supports as a practical, realistic approach. A small handful of raw walnuts, approximately 28 to 40 grams, eaten in the early evening roughly 1 to 2 hours before bed. Raw rather than roasted, because roasting measurably reduces the melatonin content. Eaten consistently rather than occasionally, because the benefits described in the research were associated with regular daily consumption over weeks, not single servings. This is not a dramatic intervention. It does not require a new routine or significant expense. It is a simple, inexpensive, evidence-grounded addition to an evening that already exists. Imagine Patricia, age 69. She has been noticing over the past 2 years that her skin looks less vibrant than it used to, duller in the mornings, slower to recover after a late night, finer lines developing more quickly than she expected. She has tried expensive creams with modest results. What Patricia has not yet tried is addressing the internal environment that determines how effectively her skin repairs itself while she sleeps. A handful of raw walnuts in the evening is not a miracle, but it is a genuine research-supported contribution to the biological conditions that make overnight skin renewal possible. And unlike the creams, it is working from the inside out. Important cautions. Please do not skip this section. 3 practical notes that matter specifically for adults over 60. First, walnuts are calorie-dense at approximately 185 calories per 28-gram handful. If you are managing your weight, factor this into your overall daily intake rather than adding it on top of everything else. Second, walnuts are among the more common tree nut allergens. If you have never eaten them regularly, introduce them gradually and be alert to any unusual reactions. Third, and this is the most important one for many people watching this, if you are taking blood-thinning medication, warfarin, aspirin therapy, or similar, Please mention regular walnut consumption to your doctor before making this a daily habit. Both the vitamin E and omega-3 content of walnuts have mild anticoagulant effects that can interact with these medications in ways worth monitoring carefully. As always, no dietary change replaces the conversation with your doctor about your individual health history, your current medications, and what is most appropriate for your specific situation. A clear and honest recap. 5 mechanisms. 5 genuine reasons to consider a small evening handful of raw walnuts as part of a consistent approach to healthy aging after 60. Walnuts contain melatonin and magnesium that may support the depth and quality of sleep, and deeper sleep directly supports the overnight skin repair process that becomes less efficient after 60. Walnuts contain omega-3 fatty acids and copper that support fibroblast activity and collagen structural stability, addressing the synthesis side of the aging equation rather than simply accepting decline. Walnuts contain polyphenols that modulate the background inflammatory signaling, inflammaging, that quietly disrupts the repair and rebuild balance in aging skin. Walnuts support vascular health and nitric oxide availability, improving the microcirculation that delivers oxygen and nutrients to skin cells overnight. And walnuts provide a dual antioxidant system, vitamin E protecting cell membranes, and polyphenols supporting your body's own enzyme defenses, that help slow the oxidative imbalance driving structural damage over time. None of this means walnuts erase wrinkles or reverse skin sagging. What it means is that a consistent evening habit of raw walnuts provides a genuinely meaningful nutritional contribution to the biological conditions that determine how your skin ages. Gently, consistently, from the inside out. Before you go, if you have watched this far, you already know whether this channel gives you something genuinely useful. If it does, subscribing takes 1 second and means every video we publish from this point forward will find you automatically. No searching, no missing something that matters. We are working toward 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month, and we are close. If this video earned that 1 second from you, hit subscribe now. And please hit the like button too. It helps more adults over 55 find this channel and access the same information you just received. We want to hear from you in the comments today. Did any of the 5 mechanisms we covered surprise you? Have you ever noticed a connection between what you eat in the evening and how your skin looks or feels the next morning? Leave a comment below. Your experience may be exactly what someone else in this community needs to read today. And as always, please speak with your doctor before making changes to your routine, particularly if you are on blood-thinning medication, managing your weight, or have any nut allergy concerns. Everything covered today is educational guidance designed to support that conversation, not replace it. Take very good care of yourself. We will see you in the next one.